Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello and welcome as we start the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend some time with you and yours. We start today's show, as we normally do, with Louisiana news. You know, I hate to be the purveyor of bad news. Chalk it up to my head, not to my heart. Recently, when the widening of I-10 started in its initial phases, you could hear a collective woohoo all across Baton Rouge. Individuals that traverse I-10 and the bottleneck and the inadequate number of lanes were ecstatic to see something finally starting to happen to ease traffic problems in Baton Rouge. Well, as it turns out, that might be a bit premature. At the Capitol this week, representatives from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development announced that because of inflation and exacerbated by the supply chain crisis, some projects that had been designed to help our infrastructure and ease our traffic woes may have to be pushed back. According to DOTD officials, concrete, steel, labor, and fuel costs, because of inflation, have gone up 88%. And as a result, some of these projects that were being pushed through, some of them hopefully fast-tracked, may now have to be pushed back indefinitely. Obviously, we would have hoped by now that the Biden-Harris administration would have gotten a handle on inflation and it would not have trickled down to this level. We will keep an eye on all of this, and hopefully DOTD will have some good news. But the fact of the matter is, based on how the policies from Washington in place have in no way, shape, or form substantially attacked inflation, seems like we're going to be waiting a while for infrastructure improvements in our state. It is a sad commentary. Of course, now, if I were to be fair about this, we in our state have procrastinated so very long in dealing with our infrastructure problems, particularly road and bridge repair, that the core fault of the problem lies with us. I have lost count over time. I want to say The last I heard, we were some 13, 14 in the ballpark $1 billion behind in road and bridge repair. That's not to mention new construction of highways. So at the end of the day, I guess if there were any silver lining in all of this, it would have to be that, well, you suffered this long, we're used to suffering, not that big a deal. Just saying. In other Louisiana news, you've heard me say before that many people are of the opinion that our state, when it comes to politics, is the most corrupt in the union. You've also heard me say that some are of the opinion that maybe it's not that we are that much more corrupt, it's that we simply do a better job of rooting out that corruption. Well, this week, speaking of corrupt individuals, 3 people in Amite City, the police chief and the city councilman, sentenced to a year in prison for violating federal election laws. Former Amite City Police Chief Jerry Trebone, 73 years of age, and former councilman, 50-year-old Kristen Chris Hart, sentenced as part of a conspiracy to pay or offering to pay voters for voting in a federal election, according to the Department of Justice. In addition to the prison sentence, Chief Trebone must pay a $10,000 fine. Another co-conspirator was also sentenced to 4 months in prison for his role. You know, I get full well that there are some people in this world that will do anything for money. I get that. That's always been around probably since the inception of mankind and the invention of money. But to think that in 2021, this far down the road, there are still folks that think it's okay to do that. But what may be more troubling to me than anything else is the fact that they did this knowing that there were some people who would have no problem with accepting whatever paltry amount they were offered in exchange for one of their most precious constitutional rights. At the end of the day, being allowed to have a say in who it is that represents us is something that people all around the world would die for. And I don't have any figures in front of me, but I've got to imagine in some place as small as Amite City, they're not being offered a whole hell of a lot of money for a vote. To trade one of your most precious constitutional rights for some paltry sum of money is an insult to this country, the principles we were founded upon, and the freedom that we're afforded in taking part of the electoral process. Of course, now, at the end of the day, you could very easily make the argument that, Clarence, I understand what you're saying, but there are folks out there that have accepted money, traded favors, and constitutional rights for a whole lot less. I will leave that to you to decide what that says about us as a state and as a society. Finally, you know, I understand, I get it. I'm old. And I understand, like the old saying, the line from the old blues song, everything must change. The older you get, if God blesses you to stick around long enough, you see things change from what they used to be. At one point in our country's history, you could say there were things we just didn't do. Additionally, there were things that we would also say, if this happened, had to be a guy. Because women, females, ladies don't do this sort of stuff. Well, when it comes to females, ladies, women, you can kind of throw that out of the book. This week, the BRPD announcing an 18-year-old female, Ariel Tyson, arrested for armed robbery. They, in reviewing surveillance footage from a local store, were able to figure out who she was. Upon bringing her in for questioning, she then announced to officers that, yeah, not only did I rob that store, but since October, I've committed 6 other armed robberies. I get it, y'all. It's a different day. I understand that. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, with these changes, why is that? What is so different today that from years ago when we didn't do these things? Quick example. When I started attending Glen Oaks Senior High School, it was the second year of integration. And we, of course, had a lot of racial tension on campus. We had gobs of fistfights. But when you pull into the student parking lot, you couldn't count the number of rifles that were hanging in the gun racks of pickup trucks all across the student parking lot. And with all this racial tension, with all these fistfights going on, no one ever even entertained the thought of going to the parking lot and retrieving a gun, or going to the parking lot and breaking in someone's truck and stealing a rifle and going back into the school and shooting up the place. So you have to ask yourself, what was so different then than from what it is now? When you figure out the answer to that, you'll figure out the answer to the whole darn problem. Just an observation. First break of today's show. When we come back, Baton Rouge and federal authorities announcing a new game plan to tackle gun violence in the capital city. Do I think it will help? We'll find out when we continue the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bugs Show. When you get a minute there, kind sir, if you would be so kind as to rotate the... He says, you got plenty of time. We'll let you know when time's up. All right. In more Louisiana news, particularly here in Baton Rouge, yesterday, city parish leaders from a wide spectrum, in conjunction with state leaders and the federal government, held a news conference to announce their plans to reduce gun violence here in East Baton Rouge. It comes on the heels of 2 high-profile murders, unsolved murders in our community, 3-year-old Devin Page Jr. and LSU student Allie Rice. They discussed a 4-part plan to address gun violence. The parts include 1, focusing on community engagement. 2, addressing the physical conditions of contributing neighborhoods. 3, the prioritization of gun crimes in the court system. And a new focus on proactive policing. Let me say right off the bat, there is a certain measure of appreciation that I have to give for attempting to solve the problem. But at the very same time, for many of us, what we heard from this press conference was blah, 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 blah. We've heard it before. And the fact of the matter is, and some of y'all going to get upset with me, but that's okay. It ain't the first time, and it, in all likelihood, will not be the last time. This is not government's job. This is our job, y'all. These are our kids causing these problems. This is us as adults causing the problem. You have heard, I'm sure, the old saying that you cannot legislate morality. Government's job is to put your criminally active behind in jail and keep you there. That's their job. Our job is to ride herd on our kids, know who they're with, what they're doing, and put the fear of God in them if they decide, for whatever reason, we're going to run afoul of the law. Unless and until we address it from that standpoint, we're just whistling in the wind, y'all. That's all we're doing. And I coined the phrase, I forget how long ago it's been now, that when you fail to govern yourself, you consent to be governed. Some of y'all not going to get that till later, but that's okay as long as at some point you get it. Speaking of getting it, meanwhile, Chief Judge for the 19th Judicial District, I almost said JDC, but you might not know what the JDC stands for, Judge Don Johnson announcing this week that he is proposing to take a different approach to this, setting up a gun violence court. If you keep up with news, you know that, one, the violence is happening so regularly that you lose track of it. And two, you'll see a story where an individual finally goes to trial after committing some heinous act. But it's been so long between the time of arrest and the time of the actual trial that you've forgotten about it. Well, Judge Johnson is proposing the formation of a new court specifically designed to fast-track these cases. As a conservative, I'm one of those that believes in smaller government. But I'm also a realist. And in understanding there are so many people failing to govern themselves that we need a mechanism of this sort. Pure and simple. Let's not kid ourselves here, y'all. People understand, particularly younger people, that in today's social climate, there's a distinct possibility that if you get caught doing something, there will be either a slap on the wrist, or it's going to take so long for you to finally get to trial that witnesses will be lost, charges will be downgraded, you'll get away with, again, the veritable slap on the wrist. This is something that I hope lawmakers will expedite. We did it, after all, for domestic violence. When domestic violence got to the point where it was exploding in our state, the powers that be, lawmakers said, whoa, wait a minute, y'all. We got to put a stop to this. So they came up with a domestic violence court so that they could get these folks, particularly repeat offenders, off our streets. Why not do the same thing here? Again, as a conservative, I'm not one to champion increasing government and its subsequent bureaucracy. I'm not. But at some point, when so many people demonstrate clearly that they're not willing or are unable to abide by the laws of a civilized society, that society deserves to be protected. And as soon as the word gets out that, whoa, these folks ain't playing anymore, the sooner we'll start to see results for getting this under control. Additionally, taking part in that press conference, by the way, was BRPD Chief Murphy Paul. The chief gave us some good news and some bad news. The good news, according to Chief Paul, is that they've seen an increase in the number of people willing to call in and share information with law enforcement about folks that they know were involved in certain crimes. That's an increase, and it is encouraging that many of us have finally come to the conclusion that if we don't help solve the problem, we're simply a part of the problem. The chief says, finally, Baton Rougeans in some neighborhoods, and we know who they are no longer buying into the don't snitch mentality. That's the good news. The bad news, however, is that from last year to now, just in Baton Rouge, we have 150 unsolved murders. You know, as a kid growing up in Baton Rouge, sleepy little bedroom town, Clarence, you old. Yeah, I acknowledge that. But when I look back on what it was like growing up in a city where at 12 o'clock at night, you wake up out of your sleep and you ask, did I lock the door? Did I close the windows? Nah, not going to worry about it. I'll see it in the morning. Those days are long gone, y'all. They are long gone. And if it pains me, I chuckle, but it pains me to say, if you don't get up and go check, you might be the next victim. The chief pointed out that the numbers are scary. So far, we are talking just to date this year, and of course, the year's not over yet, 1,700, if memory serves correct, the number of firearms seized. Of those 150 unsolved murders and the total tally, 63 of the arrests involved juveniles, 13 for homicide. I understand, as I said before, everything must change. Nothing stays the same. But at the end of the day, don't we deserve better? As hard as you work for your money, as hard as you work to take care of your family, as hard as you work to improve the quality of life in your neighborhood and your city, don't we deserve better? And you know, this all circles back around to where we started on this. This is not government's job. The government's job, when you decide to exhibit that you are unwilling to live by the laws of a civilized society, is to lock your sorry behind up. But it's our job as parents and as individual citizens to conduct ourselves in such a manner that the government does not need to govern us. When we embrace that as a society, we're going to end up being a heck of a lot better off. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, how stupid are they? Or how stupid do they think we are? We'll talk about that when we continue the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Siga Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If I were to come up with a moniker, title, description of this segment of the show, it would be, how stupid are they? Or, how stupid do they think you are? You know, as an American that grew up in an era where politicians respected the intelligence of people, it's painful to see. And it just occurred to me as I was saying it. It just popped into my head. They understand how they've dumbed us down. So I guess I shouldn't be all that surprised when they say things that show us in no uncertain terms how stupid they think we are. Sadly, it starts in today's America at the very top. This week, at a campaign rally in Michigan, President Joe Biden, talking about the supply chain crisis in our country, said the following, and I quote, 10 years ago, how many of you knew what the hell a supply chain was? You know, technically, he might have a point. 10 years ago, and until your sorry behind got in office, there was no need, because there was no supply chain crisis. But I digress. He apparently knows that because we spend so much time these days in our kids' classrooms pushing climate change, LGBTQ plus rights, transgenderism, all the things that do nothing as far as helping children develop their cognitive thinking skills. Because of all of that, he could have a point that you idiots don't know what a supply chain is. But now, for those of us who paid just a little attention in school, we know that Walmart doesn't have a magical garden out behind the store. And when they need TVs for the Black Friday sale, they just go to the TV tree and pick one off and set it on the shelf. For decades now, we've all known, because we even coined the phrase, if you bought it, a truck brought it. Meaning, when goods are manufactured, they then have to be transported. First, you got to package it. After you manufacture it, then you transport it to its final destination for consumers to buy. But to think that he would be comfortable saying, 10 years ago, how many of you knew what the hell a supply chain was? Is insulting beyond measure. It is absolutely insulting. Of course, now, we should have been prepared for this, because he did say, not so very long ago, that there is no supply chain crisis. So what are you upset about? I mean, it's bad enough that there isn't one, but if there was one, you wouldn't know what the hell it was. Unbelievable. And of course, this lunacy, insulting stupidity, trickles down. This week, White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre tells reporters in the room, I really don't know what y'all are upset or talking about. The president's been to the border. Yet another lie. A blatant, bald-faced lie. Anybody that's been keeping track of this stuff to any degree knows that Joe Biden hasn't been anywhere near the southern border. Well, let me take that back. Back in 2008, when running for vice president with Barack Obama, he drove past the border. And, of course, his highly touted border czar, Vice President Kamala Harris, in her much publicized border visit, only after Donald Trump said he was going, she hurried up and jumped on Air Force Two to fly down there. But what they didn't tell you is that the place she visited was 800 miles away from where the problem is. You know, there's an old saying, and I don't know who to attribute it to, that deals with insulting people. And at the end of the day, the old saying is, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Of course, Sheila Jackson Lee will disagree with you on that. She just recently said, it's a proven fact that words can break bones. Whatever. But at the end of the day, words may not hurt me, but insulting the American people is something I never thought I'd see from our government. It is insulting to tell us, well, 10 years ago, none of y'all knew what the hell a supply chain was. It's insulting to lie to me and say, well, the president's been to the border. No, he hasn't. No, he has not. But you will sit there, look me in my face, and tell the biggest lie you can. Now, just imagine, if you will, just imagine Had Donald Trump said either one of those things, what the outcry would be and how many, quote, fact checkers would come running out the woodwork. Karine Jean-Pierre told a bold-faced lie. Well, the president's been to the border. No, he hasn't. So where are all the fact checkers in this? And you know, what we see coming out of this White House has emboldened those who have been on board with this malarkey from the beginning. For example, this week on Stephen Colbert, Don Lemon of CNN is a guest. And I read the story. I didn't watch the show because I hear y'all through the TV. Clarence, you actually watched that crap? Oh, hell no. I saw the story the day after. Colbert asks him, well, y'all got a new owner at CNN. Has he told y'all that you can't be liberal anymore? You know what this clown said? Don Lemon. Well, I don't think we ever were liberal. Excuse me? I don't think we ever were liberal. There were words, progressive. Good point, Marty. Marty said they weren't liberal. They were progressives. Speaking of looking America in the face and telling a flat-out lie, well, I don't think we ever were liberal. You know, at some point, you wonder, does he really believe this? At some point, you wonder, does he not know the actual meaning of the word? And at some point, you wonder, just how stupid does this clown think we actually are? But when it starts at the top, it's just a matter of time before it trickles down. Sir Isaac Newton and his law of gravity pretty much explains it all. I can go one better. Commonly accepted and proven factually true, at least for the time being, until the progressives take a look at it. What goes up, gotta come down. So it only stands to reason when the guy at the very top of the chain, the leader of the free world, will lie to your face, when his spokesperson will look you in your eye and tell you what everybody knows is a flat-out lie. When the director of our nation's health agency will tell you a flat-out lie about COVID and how effective masks are and how effective the COVID, what's the word, Marty? The jab is. It only stands to reason the media will march in lockstep right along with them. Sad to watch, my fellow Americans. Final break of today's show. When we come back, racism alert. It has struck us again. We'll talk about that when we come back and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. getaways for some well-deserved me time, and rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Racism alert, racism alert, racism alert. We now find out, according to CNN, that observing daylight savings time is racist. You heard me right. A recent article on CNN claimed that observing daylight savings time disproportionately affects the sleep and health of minority communities. The piece was published last Friday by CNN health reporter Jacqueline Howard, arguing that daylight savings time often disrupts sleep, throws off our circadian rhythms, and contributes to general health problems. And since people of color have a higher number of health problems, this means observing daylight savings time is more dangerous for them. Ironically, they point out that many of these health outcomes, it's not that, quote, it's not that white adults don't also experience a lack of sleep and its health consequences, but people of color appear to disproportionately experience them more. And that's believed to be largely due to societal racism in this country. Who would have known? Speaking of racism alerts, Lamar Odom, you probably know him, former NBA player, got a championship ring with the LA Lakers. On a podcast last week, said that the gorilla mascot for the Phoenix Suns is, wait for it, racist. You heard me right. His argument is it's a team in Arizona, and the mascot is not appropriate. In his words, why not a cactus? I mean, you're not going to find a gorilla in the desert. You'll find lots of cactus. So he apparently didn't do any homework at all in finding out how the gorilla mascot came to be. The Phoenix Suns, at the time, were interested in getting more fan involvement. That obviously would translate into more ticket sales and more interest in the mascot, and more interest in the franchise. So they decided to invite fans to come in their outfits, and we'll let our customers decide. So a guy shows up in a gorilla suit. Very entertaining. Fans fell in love with the guy. So the ownership said, we got our mascot. At least until Lamar Odom had anything to say about it. You can probably take to the bank that sometime in the near future, they're going to cancel him, the gorilla, not Odom. He'll be championed as a stalwart against racism. Something as simple as the guy showed up, did a good job, the fans love him, and the rest is history, no longer matters. No longer matters. But that is the world in which we live. Finally, I've long since come to realize that some people would rather have a grievance than a job. Some people spend every waking moment looking for something to be offended by. Every waking moment looking to blame someone for their problems. Looking to play the proverbial race card. Rap megastar Lizzo. You've probably seen her. I'm not going to be ugly. Black female, morbidly obese, but apparently a good rapper. Came out this week and said that the entertainment industry is racist. They have gone out of their way not to let R&B and rap become mainstream because there are white people out there that don't want their white children listening to stuff that black and brown people come up with. Let's say, for the sake of the conversation, she's right. I personally, and this shows you what the dumbing down of America has brought us to. Had she thought this through all the way to the end, she would have said at some point in thinking about this, okay, if she's right, entertainment industry is racist. Hollywood, recording artists, etc., etc. She would have realized 90+% of the entertainment industry, the shot callers, the movers and shakers, are all liberals. And as you know from watching the Clarence Bugg Show, liberals are 99% what? Democrats. So if you think this all the way through and follow it to its logical conclusion, if the entertainment industry is racist, the entertainment industry is run by Democrats, who are they telling you are the real racist? She didn't think this one all the way through. If she did, she would immediately, after proclaiming the entire industry is racist, she would have told people that look like she and I y'all need to stop voting for these people. I mean, they run the entertainment industry. Hollywood, 99% liberal. Mainstream media, 97% liberal. Recording industry, liberals. They run the show. So if that industry is racist and it's run by this group of people, why in God's name are you still voting for people that identify with them? Of course, now, like I said early on, some people would rather have a grievance than a job. See, when you have a grievance, a complaint, an accusation, you can sit on your you-know-what and just point fingers. Oh, they're to blame. That's the blame. Here's the blame. There's the blame. When you got a job, you got to get off your you-know-what and go to work. So for a lot of them, it's conducive. As a matter of fact, our societal climate has become such that there's money to be made in being a professional grievance holder. If you doubt the authenticity of that, ask Colin Kaepernick. Ask Brittany Griner. Well, she might have a different take today. Ask Al Sharpton. Ask Jesse Jackson. They'll tell you. There's a whole lot of money to be made in professional victimhood. But they can only do this, my fellow Americans, if you allow them to. They can only do this when you acquiesce to remaining dumb to what is actually going on. Because those of us who have had the wool removed from our eyes, we see it for exactly what it is. It's all about control. It's all about power. And it's all about the Benjamins. And when you buy into that, you, my fellow American, have become an enabler. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But once again, on this day, maybe more so than any other, I pause and I give it to you. You know what? You are 100% correct. America, we are not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you got the memo. You read the email, right? You know by now that he loves you dearly, and I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other. We'll see you soon. God bless.